What's up, guys? It's the German here, Alex. Um, as you know, Matt and Skit were preparing the playoff predictions as well as a pod where I wasn't there at the time because I was discovering Oklahoma City, my first time in the US, and well, both both of them thought it would be funny if they could ask me a few questions and I'll react to them, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So, um, let's start with the first question. They gave me this Google document, and yeah, we gotta see how it goes. It's my first time reading them. Actually, I was already seeing the first question, then I realized I was recording, but I was on mute, so I'll reread the first question. Did you prefer game one or game two? Um, for me personally, I think game one was nicer because overall the day was much cooler because I was meeting all different people, but like speaking of the game itself, I'd probably say game two was much better for from OKC's perspective, obviously, because they were tweaking stuff around. For example, Trey Murphy was no longer guarded by Josh Giddey, which made things easier for them. And obviously, they also hit their threes. I think I have to do another thread about that though, because I feel like I'm already missing all the details again. Same goes for game one. Uh, like both games basically felt like a fever dream to me, so I couldn't really analyze anything in the heat of the moment for me. But I must say, I felt game two was way louder than game one for me because I was sitting uh, in section 117 in game one, so pretty low compared to section 223, where I was sitting right in the middle of the action, basically. So I think it was quieter in game one because I was sitting lower. Because like if you sit lower, then uh, the teammates otherwise couldn't communicate with coaches and to one another, right? So that definitely makes sense why I think game two was louder. But that probably means that game one was just as loud. So, like I said, subjectively, I thought game two was louder. Um, so yeah, I think I have to go with um, game two as for the game aspect, but like with everything around, I'd probably go with game one because the seats were incredible. The game itself was super tight. Chase and one had the whole crowd erupted. I was experiencing for the first time like barks and all the cheering in Beckham Center. So for the first time experience, I probably have to go with game one, especially like I was also seen on the Jumbotron. So um, it's tough. Like it's 50-50. I like being at both games. Can I say that? I'll just say I like being at both games. Next question. How was the travel experience? And for the guys that don't know, like I live in Germany. Obviously, like I'm the German on the MLG, so I was traveling 7,877 kilometers, or I think even more probably because like all the car traveling, etc. So it was a long distance and also like a long time because of overlay and stuff like that. Um, I must say, traveling to Oklahoma City felt much tougher afterwards because I felt like I had like 3 days of jet lag, and coming back to Germany, I had only like 2 days of jet lag. So it, I guess it's experience. Like I said, it's my first time I was in the US, so there's that, and obviously traveling like 20 hours back and forth each time um, felt kind of boring because you can't really do anything besides walk around the airport, try to catch your flight, and then sit around the plane for like 8 hours straight. What I did from Chicago to Frankfurt and from Munich to Chicago. Like those were my two longest flights. I was traveling 3 times each time. Like I had 2 stops every time. So That's also pretty long, or made it pretty long, and I guess that time didn't feel as long though because you were able to watch movies on the plane, so that made time fly by pretty much like in a flight. I think like in Germany you just say Zeit vergeht wie im Flug, which yeah, basically just means that like time travels like you're sitting in a plane, plane, yeah. Um, so yeah, that's what I can tell about my travel experience. And then coming to the next question, uh, which cultural differences did I find between the U.S. and Germany? Um, there were a lot to be honest. Like obviously language at first, um, but like the big differences were like the walking culture, or I shouldn't really say walking culture. Is probably more like how you say, like their housing organization or the town arrangement. It's completely different from what I'm used to in Europe because you can't really walk in the US if you didn't know that because I mean can probably you can travel. It's just it's super hard to walk around cities like Houston or Oklahoma City because they're um, laid down as a grid type system. So every house uh, is in the same row and same column basically, and that makes walking very annoying because you can't really travel directly from point A to B in a straight line, but you have to always uh, go up and to the side. Basically, if you're uh, going for a place for a few blocks away, so traveling distance is basically doubled, in my opinion, and that's a little bit sad because I like to walk. I'm always getting out there, trying to walk a little bit around after my lunch break at work. But like this, it's not really making any fun because you're not really getting around. Um, then obviously the other big thing I noticed was like fast food in Oklahoma City is very big, like a very big thing there. Um, like every second fast food restaurant, like every not even every second fast food restaurant. It's like every second restaurant is a fast food restaurant. Um, Probably even more like every third restaurant is not a fast food restaurant. So like 66% of the places I've been to were like fast food restaurants, and then like every second of the also was like a burger fast food restaurant. So it's very tough to get out there and then try to get something that's not stuffed between uh, buns, right? So pretty much a little bit impossible for someone to be vegan there, though it is possible. My father was finding a few nice vegan alternatives there, so that was also cool to see. And then the last big difference in like American culture to German culture obviously is like the whole gun culture there, with their Second Amendment and stuff like that. Like we were walking around the OKC outlets and were trying to get into a Nike store, but it was closed. And later on, we found out that hours before we went there, that this place actually got robbed by firearms, and I was pretty shocked to hear that. And the thing is, like, it's so crazy to me, but like, I didn't find anything about that on the news. Like, it kind of seems like it's just a regular occurrence happening in the US. So I'm a little bit lost for words there. I mean, luckily I didn't encounter any guns or firearms or whatever. So um, that's good. But like, just being in the moment, I was thinking, holy shit! Like, are you serious? Is that really happening? And it made me feel a little bit more insecure at that specific moment. But otherwise, um, it it was very cool to be there. anyways. But like living there in the US would make me reconsider. I'd reconsider if I want to live in the US one day. I'll definitely have to think about that more in the future, maybe. Then next question: were you trash talking any Pelicans players? I'm pretty sure that was the question Skit wrote down. And by the way, I don't know who wrote any questions, so I'll just have to assume who wrote them, or like just read answer them like that. I don't know. Yeah, no, I wasn't trash talking any Pelicans players though. Like I would never trash talk anyone really, uh, unless I want them to be mad. But like, why the hell would I want someone to be mad and then go ham in a game? For one, like I'm always someone that loves to cheers for his own team and try to motivate them. Mm. But then the other thing is, I was also like sitting way up there. Like I wasn't really in a position I could trash talk anyone. So there's that as well. Rank the top three food places you, yeah, you got food from. Rank the top three places you got food. Okay. Um, Number one was a Thai restaurant in OKC. It was very delicious, but like it also had like a fast food vibe to it because like it had like everything was fried basically. So there's that for one, but it was still fucking delicious. So I'll take that. Then obviously, yeah. Otherwise, I basically only went to like burger places. So I'll say that Brahms is at number three because like I think the bag of burgers was a little bit too dry that I tasted there. But the milkshake was incredible. So there's that. And then at number one, I'm getting really confused right now. I'm sorry. Wait, let me do that really quick again. So number three, Brahms. Number two, I'll say Tucker's Onions Burgers. It was very delicious as well. And then number one, OKC Thai restaurant, I think it was called. The next question is about, tell us about fun experience meeting Thunder Twitter. Okay, so fun experiences. Obviously it was very fun to meet all the people before game one. I knew from social media, so it was my first time seeing everyone, and like everyone is nice to me. So it's just great. You can exchange yourself for more than just 240 characters, I guess, which is cool. Um, yeah, we were talking like we could talk for like hours or so, but if I had to take like one very funny experience, maybe not Thunder Twitter, but like Thunder fan in itself, I was actually in an Uber ride with someone that actually listened to Down to Dunk as well and loves the team, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, just as much as anyone else. So uh, that was pretty cool. Like we could talk throughout the whole ride, which went like half an hour, which was very cool, and it was fun to see that he enjoyed himself as well. So I guess I have to go with that as like one of the funniest experiences I had in the US. Then next up we got, what was it like being back in town, like being back in Central Time Zone? Okay, so basically once I got back into Germany, you can imagine when I flew back to Germany, we were traveling around, our flight started at 10:30, so we were arriving at the airport at 8:30 a.m. and then we arrived basically 24 hours, technically 24 hours later in Germany. So we were back home at 12 p.m. Obviously, the whole flight distance and stuff like that, the flight only was like 18 hours, 19 hours, I think it was. But because obviously we had to skip like 7 hours, the whole flight was done in like a day. So I was very sleepy. And after breakfast, technically, I was already going to bed again. And yeah, that's how that went. And that was on a Sunday. Monday, I had to work again, and the next day, I wasn't really feeling any better. Like I said, I had jet lag for 2 days, so I went. I went to bed at like 3 p.m. again for like 2 hours or so. So I had, I had, um, yeah, still had a little bit of jet lag there. But everything's fine right now. First impressions of Paycom is the next question. So, what are my first impressions of Paycom? Like, place is huge. Not gonna lie, it's pretty huge, even though it's like one of the small arenas in the NBA. And I would say I liked it being there. Like, the whole atmosphere there was great. The fans around the stadium were all excited to get in. Um, I must say, what I don't like is like something like butter popcorn, because for me that has a really stinching smell in the nose, which I'm not used to in Germany. Like you see that everywhere. Like I was in a baseball stadium as well in OKC, and the same thing was there too. Like that whole butter popcorn or cheese popcorn. I don't know what it was, but like that smell was very distinctive, and it didn't smell that nice to me. But I guess people in the US love that popcorn type of popcorn, so it's all right to me. But like I'm a sweet popcorn type of guy. Like whenever I go to movies in the cinema, I always have to get sweet popcorn. Like anyone who gets salty popcorn is not a human being, in my opinion. But yeah, anyways, what other impressions did I have about Paycom? Like, place was huge. The atmosphere was incredible. Everything, everyone in there was nice to us, around us, because they knew we were around Germany. Um, and I don't know, like I was pretty a-struck. Like when I knew that Cody Williams was also sitting in our section for game one. Like I was seeing him, which was crazy. Uh, he even looked at me, gave me a thumbs up after he see my sign. So that was also pretty cool to see. And yeah, otherwise, obviously we got to talk about the players, right? Um, because I was also trying to get autographs from players like Shay and J-Dub. Actually, Shay gave me an autograph. Sadly, J-Dub wasn't doing any autographs at the time I tried, so that went a little bit bad, especially since it was a Jalen Williams jersey that got signed by Shay, but not by J-Dub. But it is what it is. But yeah, like the players are nice. Like Jay Will came as well, was doing photos and autographs with everyone as well. Always smiling, very charismatic person. You could tell right off the bat, if you didn't know that already by watching him. But yeah, like those were basically my impressions of Paycom. Did I bark like a dog? Yes, I did bark like a dog, because you have to do that when he's there. It was mandatory. Like everyone did that. Even my father did it. Everyone does that there. Okay, it's only 2 more questions, so let's see what we have here. Our favorite street in OKC. That's pretty simple to answer. It's Reno Avenue, because it's the most obvious answer, right? Like Paycom Center's there. The Oklahoma Baseball Park is on the road as well. And you got like pretty much everything around there, like your live music and stuff like that, and the outlet center being around, not around a Bricktown, but like when you travel west, you also get there as well, because you're on Reno Avenue, or it should be on Reno Avenue if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, definitely has to be Reno Avenue when you go to OKC. And then last but not least, did you meet any Alex Soccer Pro fans? And that's actually kind of crazy, because I actually kind of met a fan. I wouldn't really say fan. Like I think like just a random person came up to me and wanted to take a picture with me, because like, come on, who doesn't want to take a picture with the German visiting OKC? Like, that's a rarity, I guess. But it was definitely still cool to see. Um, but yeah, no worries. I'm not going to get Hollywood because of that. Like, I still have to do my threads and stuff like that. And yeah. By the way, if you didn't know, you can follow me at AlexDrProf on Twitter. Um, I still have to upload the game 4 thread. I still didn't have any time, because I was still very busy the last couple of days. But I'll try to upload it. I think this is going to be uploaded on Thursday on YouTube. So I guess you can. You should be able to see it as well on the same day. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Those were the questions. Like I said, you can follow me at AlexDrProf. And if you liked this, you can leave a like. Be sure to subscribe to Yamology. Give our podcast a 5-star review. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Yamology Podcast. Yamology_podcast. Yeah. And that's it, guys. Bye.